In the last class, we had studied about the topic rate of the reaction, the rate of disappearance of the reactant, the rate of appearance of the product. The next topic is the mathematical expression for the rate of the reaction having the same stoichiometric coefficient of the reactant and product for a chemical reaction. And second is how we mathematically express the rate of the reaction in the case of a chemical reaction having different stoichiometric coefficient of the reactant and product. And after that, the next topic is average and instantaneous rate of the reaction, and how with the help of a plot we are able to calculate the average rate and instantaneous rate of the reaction. And related to these topics, numericals were also solved to you. After that, the next topic is the dependence of rate on the concentration of the reactant. As the reaction is proceeding, with the passing of time, we observe that the concentration of the reactant is decreasing, whereas the concentration of the product is gradually increases. So I am showing you with the help of this plot. On this x-axis I am taking the time, and on the axis of y I am taking the concentration of the reactant or product. So as we know that with passing of the time, as the reaction is proceeding, the concentration of the product is gradually, this is the concentration of product P, and similarly the concentration of the reactant is gradually decreasing down as the chemical reaction is proceeding. So this is the concept how the concentration of the reactant and products are changes with passing of the time. Then after that, let we assume that the other factors like temperature, presence of catalyst remains constant. Then experimental studies shows that the rate of the reaction increases with increase in the concentration of the reactant, and the rate of the reaction decreases with decrease in the concentration of the reactant. It means the rate of the reaction is directly proportional to the molar concentration of the reactant. So it can be explained with the help of an example. A piece of wood burns faster in oxygen as compared to in the air, because the maximum concentration of oxygen is found in the former case than in the later case. After that, what is the rate law expression or rate equation? What is rate law, which is also named as the rate equation, or it can also be written as the rate law expression. Rate law expression. The representation of a rate of the reaction in terms of molar concentration of the reactant is known as the rate law or rate equation. Now, to explain this term, I am taking a hypothetical equation reaction, that is AA plus BB give the product CC plus DD. In this reaction, the small a and small b are the stoichiometric coefficient of the product of the reactant A and B. Similarly, this C and D are also the stoichiometric coefficient of the product, capital C and capital D. So with respect to this reaction, how can we express the rate equation? So the rate is directly proportional to the molar concentration of A raised to power X and the molar concentration of the reactant B raised to power Y. This is the equation. As I have already explained you that the experimental studies shows that the rate of the reaction is directly proportional to the molar concentration of the reactant. The rate of the reaction increases with increase in the concentration of the reactant, and the rate of the reaction decreases with decrease in the concentration of the reactant. It means the rate of the reaction is directly proportional to the molar concentration of the reactant, and each reactant raised to some power. Here the X and Y are the exponent of A and B respectively. These two terms may or may not be equal to the stoichiometric coefficient of A, that is small a, and the stoichiometric coefficient of the capital B, that is small b respectively. So after that, when we are removing this proportionality, a constant is added, that is K, A raised to power X and B raised to power Y. This K is the constant of proportionality. After that, we are able to define what is the rate law expression or what is the rate equation. So what is the rate law expression? The rate law is the mathematical expression given in terms of molar concentration of the reactant with each term raised to some power, which may or may not be equal to the stoichiometric coefficient of the reactants which are present in a balanced chemical equation. So with the help of this, it is clear that I am again repeating this definition. Then the rate of the reaction is given in terms of the molar concentration of the reactant with each term raised to some power, and this power may or may not be equal to this stoichiometric coefficient of the reactants which are present in a balanced chemical equation. After that, what is K? This K is the constant of proportionality, which is also named as the rate constant or velocity constant, or it also be named as the specific reaction rate. Now, how can we define the rate constant for a particular type of chemical reaction? So to define the rate constant, we have to take a special condition that when the molar concentration of the reactant is taken as unity, that is 1. When the molar concentration of the reactant A and the reactant B is equal to 1, in this condition the rate of the reaction is equal to K. This is rate constant. So with the help of this, we can define the rate constant of a reaction. The rate constant of a reaction is defined as the rate of the reaction when the molar concentration of the reactant is taken as unity. So for this reason, since it is a special case, so the rate constant is also named as the specific reaction rate. After that, what are the important characteristics of the rate constant? The important characteristics of the rate constant, the first one is the value of rate constant gives us an idea about the rate of a reaction, that is greater the value of rate constant, faster is the reaction. Second is each reaction has a definite value of rate constant at a particular temperature. The third one is the value of rate constant depends on the temperature, that is changes with change the temperature, and the value of rate constant is independent of the concentration of the reacting species. And after that, the last one is the unit of rate constant depends on the order of the reaction, and the order of the reaction will be discussed in the next class. So after that, what is the basic difference between the rate of the reaction and rate constant? This is the rate of the reaction and this is rate constant. So in the short, we can differentiate this. The rate of the reaction is defined as the change in the concentration of the reactant or change in the concentration of the product at a given interval of time. What is the K? The K is the constant of proportionality which is given in the rate law expression. Then the rate depends on the initial concentration of the reactant, whereas the K is independent of the concentration, it depends on the temperature. And the third one is it generally decreases with the progress of reaction, and it is a constant term. It does not depends on the progress of the reaction. So with the help of this slide, you can clear your concept about the difference between the rate of the reaction and rate constant. The rate of the reaction, it is the speed at which the reactants are converted into the product. It depends on the concentration of the reactant species at that moment of time. It generally decreases with the progress of reaction. And what is the rate constant of the reaction? It is the constant of proportionality in the rate law expression. It refers to the rate of reaction at the specific point when the concentration of every reacting species is unity. And the last one is, it is the constant and does not depends on the progress of the reaction. After that, the next topic is deriving the rate expression from the given kinetic data. So there are many ways to determine the rate expression for a particular type of chemical reaction, and out of which one of the important experimental method is the method of initial reaction rate. That is the initial rate method. Then how with the help of this method we are able to derive the rate expression from the given kinetic data? So first, what is the initial rate method? The initial rate of the reaction is the instantaneous rate of the reaction determined just the reaction begins. So the basic idea in the initial rate method is to determine the instantaneous rate of the reaction before the concentration of the reactant changes significantly. In the initial rate method, we have to first carry out many experiments using the different initial concentration of the reactant, and correspondingly for each initial concentration the initial rate is also determined. After that we are getting the result. The results are then compared to see how the rate of the reaction changes with changing the initial concentration of the reactant, and accordingly the dependence of the rate of the reaction on the concentration of the reactant can be predicted. So to explain this, I am explaining this with the help of a table in which the 3 experiments are carried out. Experiment number 1, 2 and 3, and it involved the chemical reaction, that is the ammonium ion when combined with nitrite anion, it gives nitrogen plus 2 moles of H2O. So to explain this initial rate method, I am going to explain this with the help of a chemical reaction. The ammonium cation combined with nitrite anion to give the nitrogen plus 2 moles of water. So the 3 experiments are carried out with the initial concentration of the reactant ammonium and nitrite. Here the initial concentration of ammonium, this is in mole per liter. In the second, the initial concentration of nitrite anion, it is also in mole per liter. And in the last column, correspondingly the initial rate is also measured, that is in mole per liter per second. Okay, in the first experiment the initial concentration of ammonium ion is 0.100 molar, and the initial concentration of nitrite anion is 0.005 molar. And what is the initial rate? When the initial concentration is this and this, then the initial rate is found to be 1.35 into 10 to the power minus 7 mole per liter per second. In the second experiment, the initial concentration of ammonium remains constant, that is 0.100 molar. But the initial concentration of nitrite get double and we get 0.010 molar. After that we observe that the initial rate of the reaction is also get double, and the value is 2.7 into 10 to the power minus 7. In the third experiment, the initial concentration of ammonium get double, that is 0.200. Initial concentration of nitrite remains same, 0.010, and again the initial rate is also got double, and the value is 5.4 into 10 to the power minus 7. This is the table showing the kinetic data for the 3 experiments carried out, in which the initial concentration of the 2 reactants are given, and correspondingly the initial rate is also determined. After that, with the help of this kinetic data, we are able to determine the value of exponent x and y. So for this reaction, we can express the rate of the reaction, that is the rate is equal to minus d differential rate equation NH4 positive dt, and it is represented as the K concentration of ammonium and the concentration of nitrite anion. This is the rate equation for this reaction, and here on this ammonium is raised to power x and nitrite is raised to power y. This is the rate law expression for this reaction. So on the basis of these data, we are able to derive the value of the exponent x and y. The strategy is to first find the 2 experiments in which the concentration of one of the reactant is changing, whereas the concentration of another reactant remains same. So in this data here, the experiment number 1 and experiment number 2, it is clear that the concentration of ammonium remains constant, whereas the concentration of nitrite is changing. So for the rate for the experiment 1 and 2, that is the rate for experiment 1 is equal to what? K, and concentration of ammonium is 0.1 power x, and what is the concentration of nitrite? That is 0.005 power y. Similarly, the rate for the experiment 2 is equal to K, and the concentration of ammonium remains constant, 0.1 power x and 0.01 power y. So this is the equation 1 and this is equation 2. To get the value of y, I am going to divide equation 2 with equation 1. Divide the equation 2 with equation 1, we get the rate for the experiment 2 divided by the rate for the experiment 1. Then what is experiment 2? That is the K 0.1 power x, 0.01 power y. For experiment 1, that is the K 0.1 power x and 0.005 power y. So after that, what is the value of rate for the experiment 2? The rate for the experiment 2 is 2.7 into 10 to the power minus 7, and for the rate for the experiment 1 is 1.35 into 10 to the power minus 7 is equal to, these two terms are cancelled out, then 0.01 y divided 0.005 power y. After solving this, we get 2. This 2 is equal to 2 power y. It means the y is equal to 1. The exponent of nitrite anion, that is the y, is equal to 1. Similarly, we can calculate the value of the rate exponent x, and same strategy is also adopted here, that we are taking the 2 experiments for which the concentration of one of the reactant remains same, whereas the concentration for another reactant is changing. Similarly, the experiment 2 and experiment 3, the concentration of nitrite ion remains same, whereas the concentration of ammonium is changes. So similarly we can calculate, that is the experiment rate for the experiment 3 divided by the rate for the experiment 2. So we get, what is the value for the rate for the experiment 3? That is K NH4. What is the molar concentration of NH4 positive in the experiment 3? That is the 0.2 power x and for nitrite it is 0.01 power y. Similarly, for the experiment 2, what is the concentration of ammonia, that is ammonium, that is 0.1 x, and concentration of nitrite remains same, that is the 0.01. What is the value of rate for the experiment 3? That is the 5.4 into 10 to the power minus 7, and the value for the experiment 2 is 2.7 into 10 to the power minus 7. So after that this term is cancelled out, kk, and we get the 0.2 power x and 0.100 power x. So after solving this we get 2 is equal to 2 power x. It means the x is also equal to 1. After solving this we come on the conclusion. What is the first conclusion? The first conclusion is the value of the rate exponent x is equal to 1 and the rate exponent y is equal to also 1. So with the help of this initial rate method we can derive the rate expression, that is the rate is equal to minus d ammonium concentration divided by dt. This is the differential rate expression, and this is equal to K NH4 positive power 1, because the value of x is equal to 1, and nitrite anion also raised to power 1. This is the differential rate equation, and this is the rate equation for the reaction between the ammonium ion and nitrite anion to give the nitrogen and water molecules. So with the help of this initial rate method we are able to derive the rate expression from the given kinetic data regarding the initial concentration of the reactant, and correspondingly their initial rate is also given to you, and with the help of that we are able to derive the rate expression, and we can compare, and accordingly we can express the dependence of the rate of the reaction on the initial concentration of the reactant. So again I would like to explain this. The rate expression is given by the method, that is the initial rate method. The initial rate method is used to determine the rate expression for a chemical reaction, and the initial rate method we are first used to determine the instantaneous rate of the reaction just before the concentration of the reactant is changing significantly. Several experiments are carried out, and here the 3 experiments, we are going to consider 3 experiments. The experiments are carried out using the different initial concentration of the reactant, and for that the initial rate is also determined, and after that we got the result. The results are then analyzed to see how the rate of the reaction changes with changing the initial concentration of the reactant, and with the help of these kinetic data we are able to determine the value of the rate exponent, that is x and y of the 2 reactants. And the basic strategy to solving this is we have to first find the 2 experiments in which the concentration of one of the reactant is changing whereas the concentration of another reactant remains same. After that we are going to solve this. First we are going to select 2 experiments, experiment 1 and experiment 2, divide the experiment 2 with experiment 1, then after that we get the value of y, and similarly same process is adopted to calculate the value of x also. The 2 experiment, that is 2 and 3 are compared. In this case the concentration of nitrite remains same whereas the concentration of ammonium is changes. So in the next step the rate for the experiment 3 is divided by the rate for the experiment 2. After that solving this we get the value of x. So we come on the conclusion that both the exponent x and y is equal to 1, and accordingly we can write the rate expression for the given chemical reaction. After that the next topic is molecularity. The molecularity is another important property of a chemical reaction. According to collision theory, the chemical reaction is proceeding due to the effective collision between the reactant species. So we can define the molecularity of a reaction. The molecularity of a reaction is defined as the number of reacting species It may be either an atom, ion or molecule taking part in an elementary reaction in order to bring about a chemical change. Okay, the molecularity of a reaction is defined as the number of reacting species. This species may be either atom, ion or molecule taking part in an elementary reaction in order to bring about a chemical change. This is called the molecularity of a reaction. So, in the case of elementary reaction, we can calculate the molecularity of a reaction simply by the sum of the number of molecules of different reactants which are present in a balanced chemical equation. So, on the basis of the number of molecules taking part in the chemical reaction, the molecularity can be classified into three classes. The first one is the unimolecular. First one is the unimolecular reaction, when the molecularity is equal to 1. The reactions are classified on the basis of molecularity of the reaction. When the molecularity is 1, the reaction is named as the unimolecular reaction, and the example is the thermal decomposition of ammonium nitrite to give nitrogen plus 2 moles of H2O. Here you can see that there is only one molecule, one reacting molecule is involved in the chemical reaction. So, the molecularity of this reaction is 1. Secondly, when the another reaction is named as bimolecular. When the molecularity is 2. The example is the thermal decomposition of hydrogen iodide to give hydrogen and iodine. This is the example of bimolecular reaction. Here the number of reacting species is 2. Similarly, the another reaction having the molecularity 3 is named as the termolecular reaction. Here the molecularity is equal to 3, and the example is the oxidation of nitric oxide to give nitrogen dioxide. Here you can see there are 2 reacting species are involved, the 2 moles of NO and 1 mole of oxygen. So, the molecularity in this case is 3. So, this reaction is named as the termolecular reaction. Here one important point is noted that for most of the chemical reaction, the molecularity cannot exceed more than 3, because the chance of simultaneous collision between 4 or more reacting species is seen rare, or it is generally impossible to see the simultaneous collision between 4 or more reacting species. In a large number of chemical reaction involve 4 or more reacting species are present in a balanced chemical equation, and since the simultaneous collision between 4 or more reacting species is impossible, so in such case in the complex reaction these reactions are proceeding in a sequence of steps. So these reactions are also named as the complex reaction, and each step is named as the elementary step. And each elementary step involve the simultaneous collision between 2 or 3 reacting species. It can be explained with the help of an example, that is the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide is carried out in the presence of catalyst I negative and in alkaline medium, and it gives the product that is H2O plus O2. Okay, this is the reaction, and the rate expression for this reaction is written as minus d H2O2 dt, and the rate law is K H2O2 power 1 and I negative power also 1. The evidences suggest that this reaction is proceeding in 2 steps. The first is step 1. The step 1 involve the reaction of hydrogen peroxide with iodide anion, that is the catalyst, to give H2O plus IO negative. This IO negative is an intermediate, and it reacted in the step 2 with another mole of H2O2, hydrogen peroxide, to give H2O plus iodide anion plus O2. So the evidences suggest that this decomposition of hydrogen peroxide, which is catalyzed by iodide anion in alkaline medium, is taken in 2 steps. So after that, it is a complex reaction. The reaction taking place in more than 1 step are named as the complex reaction. And in each reaction, you can see that we come on the conclusion that each step 1 and step 2 is a bimolecular elementary step, because both the step involve the reaction between two reacting species. Second conclusion is that the IO negative is an intermediate, because it is formed in the first step, and the second step it is consumed to give the product. Third one is the first step is the slow step, and this is the fast. The slow step is the rate determining step. Fourth conclusion is the rate of formation of intermediate will determine the rate of the reaction. And the last is that the overall steps which are involved in a chemical reaction will determine the mechanism of the chemical reaction. So this is the mechanism of this reaction, that is the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide, which is catalyzed by iodide anion in the alkaline medium. This numerical is given to you for your home assignment to derive the rate expression using the initial rate method. And in this numerical, this is the reaction, that is the nitric oxide combined with chlorine to give nitrogen oxychloride, and the following data was obtained. In the experiment 1, this is the concentration of NO, this is the concentration of chlorine in mole per liter, and this is the initial rate which is measured in mole liter per second. As I have already explained you, then how can you determine the value of the rate exponent for the reactants which are present in this chemical reaction? So you have to first select 2 experiments, and in these 2 experiments the concentration of one of the reactant remains same, whereas the concentration of another reactant changes. So in this experiment 1 and experiment C, you see that the concentration of the NO remains same, where the concentration of chlorine is changing. So with the help of this, you can calculate the value of the exponent of chlorine. Similarly, with respect to the reactant 2 and 3, you can see 2 and 3. In this case, the concentration of chlorine remains same, and the concentration of NO is changing, that is the 0.76 and 0.380. So by solving this, you can calculate the value of the rate exponent which is present on the nitric oxide. So students, you have to solve this numerical problem at your home, as I have already explained you with the help of an example. That's all for today. Thank you.